Could it be related to fresh legs, just him coming in when he did?
It could be fresh. I don't have any recall or any personal interaction with Klay. What I do know is that the guy plays like it's the last play of his life, which is what you want everyone to play with. And I think when guys have the mentality that he has with regard to effort and play style, you're always going to give yourself a chance to succeed. And, like I said, whether he lost weight, and that's kind of been the edge to give him that extra step, that'd probably be more of a question for Kasarik. But he's definitely, like I said, what he's been doing is not fake. And hopefully, again, just to repeat myself, hopefully it continues for the last 4 weeks.
How's Etor handled this year? It really hasn't been.
Who's that?
Etor Dos
Etor?
Santos. How's he handled this year?
Yeah, he's been he's been in good spirits. It could get frustrating. He missed OTAs in training camp trying to rehab, and he came back, and I thought he was progressing well. Again, it'd be a good question for him, but as far as I can tell, he's been in good spirits. He's been positive. He's working his tail off. He's trying to get back to the team.
When you do the self-scout, is there an area that kind of stands out where you want to improve on? So you use your circle like this is what I really want to hit on the last 4 games?
From a self-scout standpoint, you're really just trying to find the things that you do really, really well, and you're trying to eliminate some of the things you don't. And that's from a coaching standpoint. Like, let's continue putting players in positions that we're excelling at versus stop doing the things or asking them to do things that we clearly just can't get done. And not to get into those details, but that's really what you're looking for is more. You're not changing your scheme. Nothing dramatic is happening. You're just trying to emphasize the things that you do well, especially in this last stretch.
Sometimes Kyle has talked about not necessarily the defensive line going for the kill, but maybe just kind of containing the quarterback in the pocket. How unique is it to have a defensive line group that wants to play selflessly like that as opposed to just going for the stats and the numbers?
That's a good question. I think that's a credit to Chris and the way he coaches those guys. And I always talk about our D-line. It's relentless chaos, but it's organized in a way. And he's got those guys tied together. They understand what they can and can't do. And, I always say in coaching, you always get what you emphasize. And Chris does a really good job of emphasizing the things that they need to get done, where you can still rush the quarterback relentlessly in the way you need to win a one-on-one, but also within the confines, if you will, of the scheme and keeping the quarterback in the pocket.
One more.
Sure.
Curtis Robinson's gotten a couple starts now, so I guess what's his style as opposed to what you've seen out of Brett's different, but him and Tatum to Curtis, how has that transpired?
I don't know if there's a different style. There is, but I think all of our linebackers have the same mentality. Curtis is really smart. He is sideline to sideline. He's relentless in that regard. They play with great effort. A while ago when we first got into the league, or when I first got here in 2017, we were still kind of a Sam linebacker needs to be 240, and a Mike linebacker needs to be this, and a Will linebacker needs to be athletic, and I find it hard to imagine that anyone else is doing that anymore in the league. And we kind of shifted really in 2018 where it was just give us 3 linebackers. All of them are the same, and whoever can communicate the best will be the Mike linebacker. And Curtis is no different than all of them in terms of size, length, foot speed, all that stuff. And he just happens to be really good at calling the defense, and he creates a calm in there. Cool. All right. Thank you, guys.
How's it going? All right. Ready. Not everyone at once.
Ricky Pearsall, five receptions for 20 yards in 3 games. Is that more on him, or is it on you guys and how you're going to him? What's going on there? He's not producing very much.
I wouldn't say it's on. It's circumstantial. I think every game's different. I think you go back, the Arizona game, I think was his first game back, and we targeted him a lot, and there was coverages, dictated where the ball went. I think Carolina, we did target him a handful of times, and Brock missed a few throws on a couple, and we got into a situation where we were trying to run the ball in the fourth quarter. And then in the Cleveland game, there weren't many ops, and he did take advantage of some of his ops in that game where he beat man coverage a few times, and he made some big plays. So it's situational. Ricky's not doing a thing wrong. He's practicing his butt off. He's competing. He looks good. And that's football sometimes. That's the life of a receiver. Sometimes the ball comes your way, sometimes it doesn't, and just keep your head down and keep playing, and good things tend to happen. So that's the plan.
Anything jump out at you just looking back at Brock's couple of games he's been back and just, I don't know.
Yeah, for sure. I thought the Cleveland game was awesome. I mean, for him to bounce back from Carolina where he just missed some throws in that game, whether it was timing or just missed something and ended up throwing 3 picks, but then he bounced back against Cleveland in a really challenging environment, against a really good defense that was going to play man, and he was going to have to make throws and stay in the pocket, and he did. And he did what he needed to do to win. So I was super proud of Brock. Every game's been different. Every defense has presented different challenges, and I'm just proud of how he played against Cleveland, and I think he's playing with confidence now, coming off the bye week, so expect him to keep playing well.
You threw away the ball 7 times in that game as opposed to like it was 7 times the whole season previous. Was that something you emphasized to make sure you didn't put the ball in danger?
Yeah, I think one thing we really emphasized in that game was we can't hold the ball against that pass rush. If you're going to sit there and take a couple hitches, the ball's got to go, or you got to run, or you got to get the ball to your hands, because those guys, that pocket was collapsing, and we knew the challenge. So it was a point of emphasis for sure. We just didn't want him holding the ball and a turnover to cost us in that game. So
season have come when he's holding the ball longer. How much of a point of emphasis is it to just be decisive?
it's always the emphasis. We want every play to be decisive as we can. But Brock's made a living on holding the ball and making plays too, and you don't want to take away that skill of his. I'd have to go through and look at all the interceptions and tell you why, but I think some of it's just missing a throw. Some of it's it's not the best play design. That happened earlier in the year against Seattle, where we put him in a position that wasn't a great call. But you got to balance those two things. You want him to be decisive as he can be, but you also want him to be the playmaker he tends to be when he can get outside the pocket and hold the ball. So just constantly weighing those things and balancing it out.
Is that a larger percentage of his interceptions on first down? What's the sort of the risk-reward balance, maybe on first down, of maybe not taking a chance, or when to take chances, as opposed to later in the?
I mean, you want to be aggressive. You don't ever want to. Those are situations. First down, you get an earned first down. You want to stay aggressive. You want to get explosives. That's where that happens in football games. Usually, is you're taking advantage of the defense not knowing what you're doing. Are they running it? Are we play action? Those are situations we like to be aggressive. Again, that's football. Sometimes you miss a throw. Sometimes they make a play, but you got to turn the page and just Brock keeps his mindset, which I'm going to stay aggressive, and he's made those plays more often than not. So we're not going to take that away from him.
Do you or your staff use Pro Football Focus data numbers, for pre-scouting teams, things like that?
I know we've used it. I couldn't tell you what we specifically. In my world right now, I get numbers sometimes from our analytics department. We look at numbers and can't always tell you where they come from, but I know we do use that, especially in the off season too. So yeah. All right. You guys good? Appreciate it. Thanks, guys.
the Browns game, like maybe the first, second play, they were doing some bootlegs, and Isaiah McGuire got some penetration, and you kind of spurted away from him. And it looked to me like that looked like you. I mean, did you feel, is the toe feeling pretty good?
Yeah, no, it feels really good, and you know, like I said, once I get moving and warmed up and everything, and in the game, for me, I just focus on playing ball, and like in that case, like escaping, you know, not getting caught on keepers and stuff, like busting my butt to get outside the edge and all that, just like I have in the past. So that's just where I'm at now.
When you watch yourself during the bye week, how do you assess how you played so far this season, and what do you want to emphasize moving forward?
Yeah, I think you know, there's been moments where, you know, I gotta, in the past, where, like I've said, drive the ball, like mechanically, I want to continue to strive for, you know, just my accuracy and stuff. I feel like there's been moments where I can be better with that. You know, as a whole, this whole year, it's really just been about my toe and getting healthy and feeling like myself again. So, you know, having a week to rest up and then coming back this week and having a couple practices under my belt just feels good and feel fresh. But, you know, more than anything, it's continuing to play with the chip on my shoulder and you know, going back and watching the situational football moments that we were in the games that I've been in so far. And, you know, I think for me, it's in the end of the stretch here, 4 games, regular season, how can I be better? And I thought, you know, the last game in Cleveland was a pretty good test for me to, you know, take care of the ball, be smart with it, throw it away, and then stay on the field when we can. So, I don't know, that's what I watched and that's what I saw.
Do you think that there was anything, when you were just coming back from the toe, subconscious about digging your feet into the ground and just planting yourself and kind of generating the power that, you know, you usually do, considering where that injury is?
Yeah, I mean, that's my position. Obviously, it's my right toe, and so driving off that, like all that really does, you know, impact just everything, you know, with my mechanics and all that. So coming back, it was about getting that right and getting back to, you know, how I've played ball before. And so, you know, when I did come back against Arizona, like I felt great in terms of, you know, this is how I feel in the past, and I feel really good and stuff. So it's just continuing to build on that and finding little things every single week to continue to get better and feel like myself, but keep pushing myself past where I was before. So I feel like that's just where I'm at right now, and I got to finish out strong.
I know you guys don't like looking past the next opponent, but when you have a bye week as late as this one, do you allow yourself at all to look at scenarios or, you know, what lays in front of you, knowing that there is still so much that you could gain over the next 4 weeks here?
Definitely. I mean, that's the business that we're a part of, in terms of we want to win our division and we want to win every single game and get into the playoffs, and that's our job. That's why we're here. So, you know, to have a week off and sort of see where we're at, I'm sure everybody on our team did look at that, but being back now, it's like all we have our eyes and sight on is the Tennessee Titans in this week and this Sunday. So that's where we're at. You know, really good team, and we respect the heck out of this defense. So my job this Sunday is to come in and do our job and execute, put up points, and find a way to win. So that's where we're at. We got to take it one at a time and strictly go from there.
So much discussion about IU recently is, you know, about Hopkins and stuff and all that. But what is, maybe it's a no-doubt question, but what are you missing without him? Or I guess what makes him special and kind of special to this offense, kind of makes it go?
Yeah, I mean, Ayuk he's a baller. You know, he makes plays. He, in man-to-man matchups, does a great job of creating separation, and he's an explosive player, man. You get the ball in his hands, and he can go get yak and bring juice to the offense when he's in, and run blocking. You know, Ayuk's got so many clips of getting in and blocking linebackers and safeties and corners and running downfield with a running back and blocking guys. Like, he did it all, man, at receiver. So, you know, he did a great job with that, and obviously I wish, you know, he's healthy to be able to be with us and play and roll. And but like I said before, and I've said in the past, like all the things off the field, like that's, you know, not my place to say anything. All I can say is I'd love to play with him, and in the past we've had such great times together and stuff, and so that's all I can really say about it. But yeah.
Brock, as far as the process of pro football, the fans see Sunday, but you guys work, you know, Monday through Saturday to prepare. Do you have a favorite day in the week where either you're getting the game plan or you're going through certain things? Is there a favorite day in the process of the game that you like?
I think Friday's nice just in terms of having just about everything in when it comes to like our game plan. Obviously, we'll have first, second down, third down, red zone, everything. And so Friday being able to compartmentalize everything and go over everything mentally. And it's a day for me, I think, in the evening where it's like, all right, I can breathe a little bit to, sort of see the big picture and then dial back into my little details from there. So Friday is always is probably one of my favorite days.
You mentioned the throwaways. How do you find balance between throwing away the ball and then also being able to make plays like you do when you hold the ball?
Yeah, I think, it's in the moment. Can I make a play? Can I be aggressive? Where are we at in the game situationally? And I've made plays in the past where I'm aggressive and it works out. I've made plays poorly where I try to be aggressive and it costs us. So, I think it's just watching film and understanding my experiences and learning from it. But that's why you get paid a lot as a quarterback, to make those kind of decisions. Can you be aggressive and it works and it works out for the whole team and you win games, or can you not do that and manage the game and throw the ball away and stay on the field? And I don't know, that those are the decisions that we have to make at quarterback. But that's what's fun about our position, and for me, I'm continuing to grow in that. But I love that challenge as a whole.
Last one said that Lee Farrell broke down the team, reminding everybody that as NFL players, you guys are the best in the world. How does that resonate with you guys, especially just coming down the stretch here?
Yeah, I mean, it's just one game at a time, and understanding, if it was easy, everybody in the whole world would do what we're doing. So it was a pretty cool reminder just for all of us to hear that from Klay. And what we do is hard and it's a challenge, but we love it and we're up for it. We've done this our whole life, and so we can't forget and take this for granted. Like, we're end of the season, NFL ball, like in December. Like, this is an exciting time, and we gotta seize the moment and not take it for granted. So it was a great reminder by him to our whole team, for all of us to hear it, and a lot of guys, really, I think, took that and it sort of fired everyone up. So we're excited. Thanks, guys.